Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Warning: this video will contain spoilers for the Philip K. Dick novel, A Scanner Darkly, and the 2006 film of the same name. This video may contain discussions and/or images of violence, sexual situations, and drug use. Viewing beyond this point is a choice you have made, and you take responsibility for that choice. Thank you, and please have a nice day.
Hello and welcome to this video. I hope everyone is doing well, I hope everyone is having fun, and I hope the universe is treating you well. Today's video, we will be discussing A Scanner Darkly, both the film and the book. The book was written by Philip K. Dick, one of my beloved authors that, you know, he's kind of my go-to. If I want to read but can't think of anything specific, he is one of my go-to authors. Just, I can pick up any of his books anytime and go. The book was first published in 1977 and is considered by a lot of people to be semi-autobiographical on Dick's own struggle with drug addiction. It is the book. We follow our main protagonist. Is Bob Arctor, Arctor, who basically is a undercover narcotics agent. And this is set in the near future. Matter of fact, the book starts out in the faraway, distant future of June 1994. So yeah, the movie simply starts out, it simply says 7 years from now, which I kind of like. The movie was directed by David Linklater, or Richard. What? I've been doing that lately, just randomly pulling a first name for renaming people. Richard Linklater, a native of Huntsville, Texas, by the way, just for those of you who don't know. He lives in Austin now, but he's originally from. Actually, I think he lives in Austin. He may be out in Cali, but I'm drifting. But back to the book. Arctor is a undercover police. It's set in the future. There's a technology called a scramble suit, in which allows when the narcotics officers are talking, like at public events or interacting with other law enforcement stuff, to conceal their identity. That is the reason for this. The given reason for this is that so there's no conflict of interest. There's nobody is above the law type thing. That's so. Plus, it also allows that nobody, if you don't know who somebody is, you can't give them up. You can't accidentally betray them or whatever. And they're investigating a highly addictive psychoactive drug known as Substance D. It is also referred to as slow death, or simply death, or D. Arctor has a love interest, Donna, who's a drug dealer, who basically, as far as Arctor is concerned, as a cop, is he wants to eventually get up to the higher level dealers of substance D. When he's like at the station or whatever, and he's in his scramble suit, he goes by the pseudonym Fred. And like I said, no one knows that Fred is Bob Arctor. And Arctor, over the course of his investigation, becomes more and more addicted to this substance D, and finally splits into two personalities. Fred doesn't know Bob Arctor, and Bob Arctor doesn't know Fred. In fact, Fred is trying to bust Bob Arctor. I mean, that is how destructive on the brain functions this drug is. We go through different things, different don't want to say adventures, because just the life of hardcore drug users, hardcore, that dynamic. You go through the paranoia and stuff like that. The just all the craziness that goes with it. That life. Dealing with not only the cops, but other drug dealers, other people that are just not necessarily trustworthy. In the movie, Keanu Reeves plays the titular Bob Arctor and does a damn good job. That's probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Keanu Reeves roles. He was good in the Matrix movies. He was pretty good, a little bit better in the Bill and Ted movies. But I think this, of the movies that he's done that I've seen, that I really enjoy, I think this is his best role. You have some of the supporting characters were played by like Robert Downey Jr., Woody Harrelson. Winona Ryder played his love interest, Donna. And this being a Richard Linklater film, you also have our homegrown conspiracy nut job make a cameo. One Alex Jones, yes. Oh, Alex Jones. You have become such an Alex Jones. He makes a cameo in it, and there's actually cameos by good people like or good actors like George Clooney. Yeah, George Clooney. That second O, looking at it, kind of threw my brain off. Dyslexic moment. And I don't think in the book it mentions this outright, but in the movie it says about 20% of the American population is addicted to D. I can't remember if it says that in the novel or not. Don't remember. It's been a minute since I've read it. It's set in Anaheim, California. Both. Actually, let me. Yeah. But let me get back to the more in the movie. The movie you get the thing, you get the bicycle with the missing gears, which in the book is great. They play it in the movie. They play it for about as long as a visual audience, watching it would allow for. The conversion of hairspray into cocaine, that's hilarious. They take there are certain beats they take damn near beat from the book. Now there's a device, kind of like a piano thing, that didn't make it into the movie because it doesn't push the story forward. And Bob Octor plays it and stuff off and on throughout the novel, and basically he gets high, and the music and stuff, and visuals it puts out interacts with the drugs. It's a great literary device, but I understand why it didn't make it into the movie. And as we go through the story, we actually find out that basically Bob was a patsy, and Donna was the actual narcotics agent. He was just a police officer that they picked out and got him addicted, and put him in the position to get that addicted. What their ultimate goal is their suspicion that a rehab company called New Path was the ones actually producing the drugs, but because the owners of New Path basically had bought the government officials, had the government officials, judicial judges in their back pockets, it was hard to get somebody into the rehab facility. And this all comes in the last, probably out in the last quarter or so of the book, or maybe the last eighth of the book, and basically Bob was the one that they were gonna crash his mental facilities, get him into the rehab, and hope like hell he can recover from the effects of the drug, the addiction. Both in the movie and in the novel, Donna has great remorse for their actions. She does at the very end of the book and the very end of the movie. She's questioning, how far is too far? How far is a bridge too far? We find out the book ends and the movie ends poetically with Bob. He's in rehab. They've just assigned him the arbitrary name of Bruce. And indeed, New Path is basically producing the drug to provide addicts so they have customers for the rehab to get the government money from, and we find this all out, and the book ends, and like I said, the movie ends with our hero, our protagonist, our victim. That's more or less what he is. He's a victim. He's a victim of law enforcement, and his brain's things start to fire as he's recovering from this drug addiction, and he hides. He's gonna have the Thanksgiving's coming up, and he's gonna have friends and stuff, which are going to be undercover police officers for Thanksgiving, come visit, and he hides one of the flowers that are growing, little blue flowers, kind of a poppy. They're kind of a stand-in for poppies. Maybe I should explain that earlier. I got going and just forgot about the little blue flowers. They're kind of a stand-in for poppies because This, like I said earlier, this is considered to be semi-autobiographical to Philip K. Dick's own drug addiction, namely heroin, and his recovery. But these little blue flowers are used to produce the substance D, and pretty much in a real similar style. And that's one of the reasons why they wanted to get somebody into the new path rehab, is because of the theory, their theory, and it proves to be a good theory, or I should say their hypothesis becomes a theory. And so he picks one of these blue flowers, hides it in his shoe with the intent of giving it to his visitors when they come for Thanksgiving. And that's where the book and the movie end. We don't know what happens. We don't know if he recovers. We don't know if they bust new path. We don't know what's going on. And that's just, and Dick leaves it up to our imagination, our viewpoints, how we would want it to end. Do we want the happy ending? Do we want the middle of the road ending? Or do we want the sad, tragic ending? But all in all, this book is a really good, and I prefer, and don't get me wrong, I like the movie. It's a rotoscoped movie. It's well done. The rotoscoping helps with the accentuation of the drug, the effects of the drug, and all that. Wonderfully done. But the book is so much better. Or for me, the book is much better. Now, here's something I have to give up, or I have to admit to. The book was written in 1977. As good as literature can be, it cannot directly come into film. There has to be changes. There has to be things left out. There has to be things added in. And I imagine for somebody who did not grow up in the 80s, or grow up in the 70s, 80s, or 90s, the movie might be better. It might translate better than the book because of the language used, the way the book was set up, the way, being locked into the summer of 1994. So, whereas the movie is just, whenever you're watching it, this movie takes place 7 years in the future. So if you're watching it in 2006 when it came out, 7 years in that future. If you're watching it in the horrid year of our Lord 2024, 7 years from now. It's always going to be 7 years from now. So I highly recommend the book, especially if you're a sci-fi reader that likes their viewpoints challenged, their way of looking at the world, the way of seeing the world challenged. This is any of Philip K. Dick's books. Philip K. Dick, yeah. But this is a good one. This is one of my top books. I will freely admit that my favorite Philip K. Dick book is the one I happen to be reading at the moment. So it changes. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. I hope everything is going well. Till next time, remember, be a good human, be good to other humans. Peace.